Yo, what's the word, boys? Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be going through the best UFC fighters from each continent. And if you guys don't know what a continent is, I pray that you guys do. But we have 7 continents in the world. And in this video, we're going to be going through 6, of course, because there's no UFC fighters from Antarctica. I'm not too sure if the Penguins have, an underrated wrestling game. I'm not sure if they have a kickboxing background. So I'm just going to leave them off the list. So I want you guys to like and subscribe too. I appreciate it. Get me to 1,000 subscribers, videos every other day on the channel. Let's jump right into it with Africa. And you guys aren't going to like my pick, but I think Kamaru Usman is the best African fighter in the UFC right now. I have him over Israel Adesanya and Dricus du Plessis. I believe Kamaru Usman is not nearly as washed as a lot of people say. I think he's actually still championship level. If you look back to the fight against Khamat Chimaev, it should have been a draw. I don't care what the fuck you say about Khamzat. Oh, Khamzat, he's the GOAT. I don't care. Kamaru Usman should have gotten a draw out of that fight, and if it was 5 rounds, Usman knocks his ass out. I don't care what you say. The first round was 10-8 to Chimaev, and then Kamaru Usman won the next 2 rounds. And if you look back at that second title fight, with Leon Edwards, it was a lot closer than a lot of people are saying. It was a lot closer than people are saying. I know Kamaru got that extra point, or Leon got the point deducted, of course, but in terms of just the fight itself, it was a lot closer than people are saying. And I'm very interested to see where Kamaru Usman goes from here. Does he stay at middleweight? Does he go back down to welterweight? I really want to see Kamaru Usman get a fight booked soon. He's one of my favorite fighters in the history of the UFC. So I am putting him as the best African fighter, and I think he's better than Israel Adesanya and Dricus du Plessis right now. I don't care if you guys hate me. I don't care. I'm no casual. I'm no casual. I know you guys are going to say it in the comments. Oh, you're a casual. Dricus du Plessis is easily the best African fighter. No, it's Kamaru Usman. Israel Adesanya is too inconsistent for me. He could have the best performance of his career against Alex Pereira and then look absolutely dog shit against Sean Strickland. It doesn't add up. It does not add up. The math isn't mathing. And I think Kamaru Usman is well-rounded, more well-rounded than Israel Adesanya. I think Kamaru is an underrated striker, and in terms of striking defense, the most underrated guy in the UFC. Maybe in UFC history. Kamaru Usman's striking defense, besides, the shin to the face or the shin to the head from Leon Edwards, the most underrated guy in terms of striking defense. His striking defense is so fucking good. And in terms of Dricus du Plessis, the dude looks like a drunk on the feet. He looks like a drunk on the feet. He looks like Israel Adesanya on the feet. I was trying to make a joke because Izzy was, got a DUI before the fight with Strickland. It didn't work. But I feel like DDP is not that good on the feet. I believe Kamaru Usman's a better striker on the feet. I think he's a better pure wrestler on the feet. And I do believe that Dricus, has that better grappling game, is a more of a BJJ threat. But in terms of the overall package, I believe Kamaru Usman is still a better fighter than Dricus du Plessis. And if they fought right now, I'd fucking pick Kamaru Usman to win. Have that. I'd pick Kamaru Usman to beat Dricus du Plessis. All right. Best African fighter, Kamaru Usman. Moving on, we have Asia. I have Shavkat Rakhmonov, and I included Khamzat Chimaev into this list as well. I didn't put him in the European slide. But I believe Shavkat is the best Asian fighter. Now, I put Arman Tsarukyan and Song Yadong, as honorable mentions, but yeah, they're not really in the conversation. It's really between Chimaev and Rakhmonov, and I believe they're very close. Very, very close. I think that the striking is very similar. I think Chimaev maybe is a better wrestler and grappler, but at the same time, at the end of the day, if I have to pick one guy and rely on one guy to win me a championship, it's LeBron James. No, it's Shavkat fucking Rakhmonov. If one guy needs to go out there and win a championship right now, it's Shavkat Rakhmonov. I think at their absolute best in the first round, Chimaev is the better fighter, but that's not the game we play. It's a 5-round fight if we're fighting for the title. And I think for those 25 minutes, Shavkat Rakhmonov would be the better fighter. Chimaev doesn't have a fucking gas tank. He does not have a gas tank, and that comes into play when you're thinking about the best fighter in the world. And I believe Shavkat Rakhmonov is more of the complete package when you compare him to Khamat Chimaev. And I'd love to see this fight. In terms of fights to be made in the UFC, maybe excluding an Alex Pereira move to heavyweight, I believe Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Khamat Chimaev would be the pick. That would be my most anticipated fight that the UFC could make right now. It would be so fucking cool. Put it at middleweight, make Shavkat move up. That would be so just elite, man. Two entities fighting. That'd be so elite. I'm so down for it. So for the best Asian fighter, I do have Shavkat Rakhmonov. Next up, South America. Yeah, it's Alex Pereira. Jose Aldo, Alexandre Pantoja, Charles Oliveira, amazing fighters. I'm a big fan of all of them, but they don't stack up to Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira, I believe, is the greatest striker in UFC history. What he's done in damn near 2 years will never be replicated. He is the face of the UFC, and he's just that guy. He is that guy. Nothing else to really say. His resume in 2 years is incredible. Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska. That's incredible. Jan Blachowicz, can't forget him. I feel like Jan Blachowicz, that's his most underrated win because in terms of stylistic challenges, I feel like Jan Blachowicz presents a lot of danger to Alex Pereira. So that resume he has is simply incredible. He is the face of the UFC right now, and he says he wants to fight at UFC 305. He's just incredible. I absolutely love Alex Pereira, and he is undoubtedly the best South American fighter in the UFC right now. Nothing else to really say. Moving on, we have Australia. Alexander Volkanovski, not much else to say. I added Jack Della Maddalena in there just to get another guy on the slide, but I guess you could argue Robert Whittaker, but not really, guys. Not really. I don't think Alexander Volkanovski is in his prime anymore. I will admit that, but he is still so damn good. He brutalizes people. He brutalized Max in 3 fights. He brutalized the Korean Zombie. He brutalized Yair Rodriguez. Underrated brutalizer. Not a KO specialist, but a brutalizer. Arguably the best striker in UFC history. His wrestling is underrated. What he did to Islam Makhachev in that first fight, I don't believe he won the fight, but what he was able to produce and what he was able to put forward in that fight is simply incredible. Alexander Volkanovski, a top 5 fighter in UFC history. I'm not sure where he's going to go from here in his career, but at the end of the day, he is still elite, and I believe he is one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. Simple. All right, that's it for Australia. Moving up to North America. Guys, you guys are going to be very mad at me. You guys are going to call me a hater. You guys are going to call me a glazer of who I picked. But it has to be said. Max Holloway is the best fighter in North America. Simple. He is the best fighter in North America. I don't care about Sean Strickland. I don't care about Sean O'Malley. I don't care about Brandon Moreno, and I don't care about Jon Jones. Max Holloway, in terms of who is the best fighter right now, in terms of who has the best skill set right now, who is the best pure fighter right now, Max Holloway is better than Jon Jones. I don't give a fuck. Jon Jones is more washed than a lot of people say. He lost to Dominic Reyes. He couldn't finish Anthony Smith. He couldn't finish Thiago Santos on injury. He finished Cyril Gane because Cyril Gane is literally nothing on the ground. He's literally nothing. And I believe Stipe Miocic, when you really think about it, when you really dive into it, I believe that Stipe Miocic presents problems to Jon Jones. If you look back at that Cyril Gane fight, Jon Jones is a fat, old heavyweight. He is so damn slow. And I feel like a guy like Tom Aspinall would absolutely destroy Jon Jones in the first round. I believe that the speed and the power, people do not talk about that shit enough. The speed and the power will be the biggest discrepancy for Jon Jones at heavyweight. And I believe Max Holloway is the better fighter right now. I am confident, Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to pick him to win, but I am confident that Max Holloway can go out there and beat an Ilia Topuria, and I believe he could go out there and have a very competitive fight with Islam Makhachev. Now, hear me out. You guys are going to call me crazy. I think Max Holloway is in his prime right now. Yes, sir. I think he's in his prime right now in terms of striking defense, all-time high. In terms of finishing people, he's shown it in his last 2 fights. I think he is the greatest finish in UFC history against Justin Gaethje. And people believe that Max Holloway ruined his career going into that fight with Justin Gaethje. People believed that Justin Gaethje was going to brutalize and knock out Max Holloway. Guess what, guys? I picked Max Holloway to KO Justin Gaethje in that fight. I'm just saying. And I believe that Max Holloway is the better fighter right now. Now, in terms of grappling and wrestling, yeah, I'd go Jon Jones. I believe Max Holloway has an underrated grappling and wrestling game. And then on the feet, it's not even fucking comparable. It's not even comparable. Max Holloway is that guy. He is that guy. He is him. And he is the best North American fighter in the UFC right now. Ending off the video, we have Asia. Or no, not Asia. Holy fuck. We have Europe, excuse me. Now, I decided to include Islam and Ilia Topuria into the list. I didn't put them in Asia. I know Georgia's pretty much on the board, or I know Russia's kind of half and half, but I threw them in the European side. And Europe's absolutely stacked, man. 4 guys on this list that are just elite. I believe Tom Aspinall is the best heavyweight on the planet and the future heavyweight GOAT. I believe Leon Edwards is the most underrated champion in the UFC right now. And I believe that Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria are the 2 best fighters on the planet right now in terms of boxing and boxing fundamentals, the ability to go from the body to the head, tight boxing combinations, Ilia Topuria is the best on the planet. I know he doesn't use his kicks all that much, so he doesn't have the most well-rounded striking game, but when he uses his kicks, they're hard. They affect the opponent. And I believe he has an underrated grappling and wrestling game. You could look at what he's done outside the UFC. It's literally submission win after submission win after submission win. He has a grappling background, and I believe throughout Ilia Topuria's career, he's going to show people how good his grappling and wrestling game really is. I think you could really make the argument that Ilia Topuria is the most well-rounded fighter in the UFC right now, but I would not agree with you. Islam Makhachev is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. If you lack 2 guys in a room, it's fucking Islam Makhachev. I don't need to hear any of that Jon Jones bullshit. Islam Makhachev is the best fighter on the planet. He outboxed Dustin Poirier. I don't think people look at that. People are like, oh, Dustin made it to the 5th round. He made it competitive. No way. Islam Makhachev dominated Dustin Poirier. He literally outstruck and outboxed Dustin Poirier in that fight. He's the best guy in terms of striking defense, maybe in UFC history. I don't know how you beat Islam Makhachev. It's an unsolvable puzzle. That's what Islam Makhachev is. You could argue. Now, I'm not sure if I would agree with you. I am not sure. But you could argue that Islam Makhachev is the best MMA striker, wrestler, and grappler in the UFC. You can make the argument. The dude has the most underrated striking game in the UFC, and his wrestling and grappling is absolutely dominant. You guys are going to call me a glazer. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I'm glazing him, sure. He's the best fighter in the UFC. Islam Makhachev is that guy. So let's recap it real quick. Can I go back? Oh, shit. Okay, I could go back. Hell yeah. So for Africa, I have Kamaru Usman. I think Kamaru Usman is the best African fighter right now. For Asia, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Next up, South America, Alex Pereira. Easy. Australia, Volkanovski. For North America, Max fucking Holloway. And then for Europe, Islam Makhachev. I know you guys are going to hate my takes, but it's at the end of the day, it's factual. At the end of the day, it's the truth. All of these guys are the best fighters from their respected continents. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, turn on post notifications so you know every time I post. Click that subscribe button. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching. Peace out.